What up, fam? It's your boy. Ah! I just gave myself a little JoJo jump scare there. Oh my lord! Look at this. We'll get back to this. Let me put this down. But that's JoJo Siwa right there. Oh my god. Okay. So I said I wouldn't do this. But I had to watch. I was holding back, but I had to watch. I had to watch episode 5 of the Tuah podcast featuring JoJo Siwa. There was just maximum levels of cringe, and I needed to document my findings here because this is it. This is the bottom of YouTube. This is like the bottom of the barrel. This is the Marianas Trench. We dug straight to the bottom of YouTube with this video, and I have to talk about it. Like, oh my god. First of all, real quick, okay, the freaking controversy with the name. Okay, so this was in a previous video. I think it was episode 1 of the podcast, but Hailey Welch, aka Hawk Taw Girl, she kind of like shit on her friend Chelsea because Chelsea was saying like Talk Tuah podcast, and Hailey kind of jumped on her. It was like, no, you dumb bitch. Like, no, it's like Tuah. It's just one, it's like Talk Tuah. Okay, and then so she makes Chelsea like practice it or whatever until she gets it right. It's very embarrassing. But then, she said all that, and then every time she introduces the freaking episode, she's like, welcome back to Talk Tuah. So is it one syllable or two? Like, they can't seem to freaking agree on this. So I'm going with Tuah because that's how she always introduces the show. Anyway, episode 5. I mean, I'm stopping again. I said I would stop after episode 3, but 5 was so cringe. I had to look at it. I had to like document my findings. But I'm stopping again. I swear, for real this time. I swear. This is absolute brain rot. I need to stop. This is unhealthy. So I watched one more episode. I know I'm like a junkie. Like just one more cringe podcast. That I'll stop. I'll stop after episode 5. I swear. No. Okay. This is it. I'm doing the one more, and then that's it because no one wants to hear about this anymore. I just need to talk. I need to talk to Tuah about it. Anyway, okay. Talk Tuah, episode 5, JoJo Siwa. The thumbnail and the title of the video is very misleading because, again, I had no freaking idea who this person was at all, but like the thumbnail was so cringe. But like, okay, the title of the video, for some reason, she says, I'm fighting JoJo Siwa. Like, I'm fighting her. And then the thumbnail, they use like a different picture of her. She has like cornrows. She almost looked like Ronda Rousey in that picture. And I just assumed, like, I don't know this person. I've never heard of JoJo Siwa. Is she like an MMA fighter? Like Hailey was like, Hailey was being like, haha, I'm fighting her. I'm fighting JoJo Siwa. Like, no, that's not what it is at all. So I have no idea why she called it. It's very misleading. She should not have called her video that. It's very confusing, and then it's like, okay, well, they don't like fight, but like maybe they have like a lot of arguments or debates, like, so she's like fighting JoJo. Like, no, if you watch the video, they pretty much agree on everything. Like, they don't fight at all. So like, I have no idea. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm fighting JoJo Siwa. No, you're not. So anyway, yeah. Oh my lord. Okay, so and then let me start off like the best part of these videos. Don't even watch these videos. Just look at the comments. The comments are a gold mine. The comments are a treasure trove. I had to write one down. This is my favorite. But from this newest episode, you know the comments are gonna be gold. But this one comment tells a little story. This person's like, my son was in a car crash. He was on life support. My phone was only on 2%, and I got a notification that the latest Talk Tuah was uploaded. So I unplugged a random outlet, and now I'm enjoying my favorite podcast. Heart emoji. My son's funeral's on Friday. So it's a pretty dark joke. I loved it, but like, yeah, maybe that would have gone over some people's heads. It certainly would have gone over the heads of every person on this freaking podcast. But oh my god. Okay, let's take a look at this again. So this is JoJo Siwa. I had never heard of this person before. I absolutely hate her now. I mean, she claims to be like this victim on the podcast. She's like, oh, people are such haters. I'm like, well, first of all, I didn't know who you were. I mean, now I see why. Like, I see why. Oh my god. Yeah, no, I've only heard you talk for like 2 minutes, and I hate you. I absolutely hate you. So she was like a child star or something. Yeah, there it is, Nickelodeon. She was like either a Disney Channel or a Nickelodeon star, maybe both. And she like had this. Unlike Hailey, I did my research. Hailey is the worst host ever. Like she like it's like the bare minimum. You'd think like, oh, it was the same thing with Whitney on her first episode. She's like, oh, here's Whitney. oh, who's that? Like, no, she didn't tell us. She's just like, here's Whitney. And it's like, no, Whitney had like this short-lived sitcom called Whitney, and it bombed. But like, you know, she was like a comedian or something in the early 2000s. Like, no, Hailey didn't do any of that, you know, introduction. Same thing with JoJo Siwa. She's just kind of like, oh, you know her. Like, this is JoJo Siwa. I'm like, no, I don't. This is the first freaking time I've ever heard of this person. So like, no, you'd think she would have like at least mentioned, oh yeah, she had like this music video called Boomerang when she was a kid and it blew up. Like, nope, doesn't mention that. And then most recently, she has this music video called Karma. Doesn't mention that, you know. So like, I did my research. I watched all of her terrible music videos. They're all so horrible. They're all so horrible. Like, I couldn't do it. But like, so JoJo had this like brand, like she did the thing. She acts like she's so different, but like she did the thing that every child star does, where like they're cutesy, you know, when they're in their Disney years, and like Miley Cyrus, for example. Like, she did the exact same thing. She was cutesy, and now she's this. It's like, ah! Like, so she was cutesy. She was like JoJo Siwa. She like was, I guess, in some kids movies, and she had like the hair ribbon was like a thing. She had like the whole, hey, I'm like cutesy Barbie doll like look or whatever, you know, kids bop look. And then most recently, like I think it's just as of this year, she has this whole thing where she's like, I don't even want to say goth. I don't know what this is, but she's like she's like an edgy bad girl now, and like, oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. I don't know. Like, she rebranded, but like, I don't know which is worse. I can't decide, chat, which is worse. Like, both brands are bad. But like this, you know what she looks like? She looks like a freaking Power Rangers villain. She looks like, do you remember Astronema from Lost Galaxy? She looks kind of like Astronema. I don't know. Does she have like a putty patrol? Do I have to fight her putties, or can I just fight her? Can I like directly go to her? Is she like the final boss or something? You know? Oh my God, JoJo Siwa. She doesn't look like this in the video either. Like, I wish she like showed up in this. She just wears like kind of normal clothes, so also not like that. Also not like this. I don't know. Oh my God. Anyway. JoJo Siwa. Okay, so anyway, they start talking, and oh my God. Oh yeah, this was funny too. So Hailey Welch, aka Hawk Tuah girl. So she has like this giant mimosa that she's drinking, like this giant, like when I say like, it's not even in a glass, like that's not the right word. She has like a goblet, like a giant goblet, you know, like a Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. She has like a giant goblet that she's drinking this mimosa out of, and doesn't offer Chelsea one, doesn't offer JoJo Siwa one. You know, it's like, you know, kind of a dick move, actually. She's just kind of getting schnozzed and drinking this giant mimosa, but they have this like, oh my God, like they're both so dumb. Like, they have like the dumbest argument ever, because Hailey's like, oh, this is just orange juice, and JoJo is like, that's not orange juice, that's a mimosa. And I'm like, oh my God, you stupid girl. Oh, like, what's wrong? JoJo. Okay, a mimosa is orange juice plus champagne, or maybe a different citrus juice sometimes, but like, it's clearly orange juice. So when she says she's drinking a mimosa, or excuse me, when she's drinking a mimosa and she says she has orange juice in that cup, it's true. It's true. Like, you know, you're so stupid. And people in the comments were like, no, like, you know, she's being sarcastic. Nobody's actually that dumb. Like, she knows that there's orange juice in there. I'm like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think this person knows anything. I don't think she knows what's in a mimosa. I don't think she knows anything. Oh my God, there's so many things that they say that I need to like unpack. But like, okay, so and they talk about one thing they talk about are SNL skits. Like, okay, that's something I need to seriously, instead of this podcast, look up, because they were actually both featured on SNL. They were both on SNL, and JoJo. Look up the JoJo Siwa parody, because that actress does a spot-on impression better than I can't even do a real impression, but like the way JoJo talks is just like, it's hard to explain. She's partially she's doing like the baby talk thing that some girls do. It's like, oh, like, you know, I'm 20, but like I talk like I'm 8, like, oh, wow, you know, I'm JoJo Siwa, you know. It's not cute. Usually when people do that, people will tell you to stop. Like when a girl does that, it's like, no, that's not cute. That's kind of weird. It's kind of creepy. You're like 21, stop it. Like, so she does that, but she also does like this weird, like almost skater boy lingo, because she's always like, oh, that's so rad, or like, I'm so stoked, or it's like, totally, I'm totally stoked, or I mean, I don't know, man. It's bad. It's bad. Hearing her talk, it's absolute brain rot. Like you feel dumber listening to her talk. But anyway, one thing she said something. I had to kind of jot some things down. So like one thing she said, because she's like, oh, there's so many haters, but guess what? Like, I'm laughing all the way to the bank, and it's like, that's usually something that you say about a celebrity, like, oh, people might hate on Johnny Depp, but he's laughing all the way to the bank. It's rare that you hear a celebrity say that about herself. So like that was like kind of like, oh wow, what an unlikable thing to say. She's like, yeah, you might hate JoJo, but JoJo's rich, I'm laughing all the way to the bank. Like, oh my god. Oh yeah, another thing she said, I thought this was so weird, but like they had this conversation about like, oh yeah, like, because Hailey's like, oh, is it weird that like I just like go through my significant other's phone? Like, I'll just like, if he like leaves it out, like, it's free game, like I'll just like pick it up and go through his messages and start playing games on his phone. And then JoJo's like, oh no, I do that too. And then they both agree. It's like, oh, it's not just like a significant other. They're both validating each other. They're both like, oh yeah, no, we're super nosy. It's like it's like, oh yeah, if you leave your phone out, like, yeah, I'll just pick it up. I'll just like start going. And I'm like, I don't even. And she's like, JoJo's like, I don't even really care. I'm literally just nosy. I literally don't care. I'm just nosy. Like, I'm just gonna go through your files. I'm just gonna go through your messages because I just want to know. I'm like, that's weird. That's really weird. I would never do that to anyone, even someone I was dating. Like, that's just an invasion of privacy. And then they try to explain, like, because Hailey's like, well, it's like what's on your phone? Like maybe you have a game that I don't have. And I'm like, so. So yeah, okay, like I have Pac-Man and you don't have Pac-Man, just download. Okay, then freaking download. You don't need to steal my phone. Like just download Pac-Man. You're like, what? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, you're that lazy you can't like download a new game. You have to like steal my phone to play a game you don't have. Like, what? Like, anyway, what? So, and then JoJo said something. Oh, she's so weird. Like, she's so weird. So she's talking about how how do I put? So she's in. I forgot about this, but I guess there was like a whole thing where Harry Styles he like wore a dress or something, right? And like that was like, I guess a big, because he's a man and he wore a dress or whatever, and like it was a big deal, like whatever. So JoJo was like, oh, I saw that, I wanted to like up the ante. I'm like, oh no, here we go. here we go. She wanted to she wanted to up the ante. No, she's not even talking about that. She did like a photo shoot, and I guess she was like wearing boxers, but she like had like a prosthetic penis underneath the box. Like she wanted to like have a big man's package or something. And I'm like, okay, good for you. It's so funny because she talks about how much she hates men, and like, oh, I'm a lesbian. I never well, she had some boyfriends in the past apparently, and she even said like, oh yeah, my first kiss was with a guy. Like I made out with guys, but she's like, no, men are gross. I hate men. Like, I no interest at all. Men are disgusting. Like, I'm like, listen, lady. The feeling is mutual. Okay, the feeling is mutual. Like, yeah, you're grossed out by us. We're grossed out by you. Like, she's like, oh, I imagining having sex with a guy, that makes me sick. Like, well, listen, the feeling is mutual. Like, you're making me sick. Like, oh god. Anyway, oh my lord. Well, yeah, she talks about how she has like big D energy, and like she what else? Oh yeah, she called herself, she's like, oh, or Hailey's like, yeah, you definitely remind me of like a fuck boy. And she's like, yeah, that's what I am. I'm a fuck boy. And I'm like, that's a whole other video I might do sometime, but like that's a term. It's one of those, like, we all know it and we've all heard it, but it's hard to like describe it or define it. Like, I did this experiment one time. I'll tell the story real quick. I did this experiment one time where I asked like a sample size of like, let's say 10 different people, like, oh, well, what's fuckboy? Can you like define it for me? I got 10 radically different answers. It was so funny. Like, no one could really agree on what it means. Like, it kind of means different things to different people. But anyway, yeah. So JoJo is that apparently. So there you go. Um, um, and then yeah, they're talking about, of course, like it's oh my god. This is what I don't understand. It's like when you like a real podcast, right? Like a real podcast would have like, I don't know, like, oh, I'm gonna have like Ronda Rousey on my show, and I'm gonna ask about MMA or something, like, you know, like the topic is like fitness or exercise or women in sports, or, you know, so you have like a topic. It's crazy to me that she went through all of this trouble. She spent all this money on the studio, the expensive microphones. She flew out this expensive, you know, guest star, and they talk for an hour, and they don't have anything to talk about. It's like they just talk about each other. Like, oh, well, here's who I am. Now let's talk about you. And I'm like, oh my god, that's okay, fine. You can like introduce yourself or talk about yourself, but like you need a topic, man. Like you can't just like it's wild to me that they never have a topic. They just kind of, you know, blah, 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 you know, like this video. I have a topic. I'm talking about episode 5 of the top. I might go off topic, but like I always go back on topic. Like I have a point. I have a topic. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's so crazy to me. Like you're just like freestyling for like 55 minutes. Like, oh my god, like Jesus, like just think of a topic. Like, JoJo, I want to hear your thoughts on, you know, animal rights or what, you know what I mean? Like, anyway, okay, all right, calm down. I need to calm down. But yeah, they talk about, you know, like sex stuff, and like JoJo or Hailey is like, you know, oh, I hawk taw. Do you hawk taw? And okay. Okay, so first JoJo said something where she was like, you know, she's just like, how do I put it? She's like showing off, or she's like so proud. She's like proudly like, you know, I'm a lesbian. Like I do not have any attraction or interest in men. Men disgust me, you know. And she's like, I've never had. And she's like proudly declaring, she's like, I've never had sex with a man. You know, I'm like, okay, you know, good for you. But she's like, she's so like, you know. But she's like, yeah. She goes a step further where she's like, you know, what even is a penis? Like if I saw one, like I just don't know. Like what do you even do with one? Like I don't get it. Like what do you do? And I'm like, JoJo, this isn't like, you know, rocket science. Like this isn't difficult. Like, you know, there's not a whole lot to it, but but yeah, no, JoJo can't figure it out, and you know that's unfortunate for her. But Hailey's like, yeah, I mean, I hawk, you know, and she asked her like, do you also hawk to? And JoJo's like, yeah, I do. And I'm like, well, wait, hold, pause, just pump the brakes for a minute. Like, now I'm confused. So like, you know, Hailey spits on that thing, but JoJo, as she has, you know, probably declared, she has a girlfriend. She does not have a boyfriend. She's never been with a man. There's no thing to spit on. It's like, so what are you spitting on? I don't, you know, are you spitting in her face? Like, that's what I'm imagining. I was like, JoJo's girlfriend goes in for like a kiss or something, and like JoJo just like spits in her eyes. Like, oh, that's a nasty surprise when you go for a kiss from JoJo. You get a nasty surprise. I mean, I don't know. Like I'm so curious. Like what's she talking about? Like I think she's full of crap. I think it was one of those, like, she just wanted to be included in the conversation, even though it doesn't apply to her. So she's like, oh no, I do that too. I hawk taw too. You really? How? Never mind. Then JoJo admits, like, it was so like embarrassing. My paper flew away. I need to grab it. It was so embarrassing, but like JoJo admits that because they're like, oh, what's like the craziest date you had? Like that was like the next question, and JoJo was like, oh, well, this one time I was trying to get laid, so I spent $60K. I spent $60,000 on a date with a girl, and everyone's like jaw just hits the floor. And she's like, yeah, $60,000. Like, what? On one day? She's like, well, yeah, I went all out. I liked this girl, so I took her like a courtside Lakers game, you know, backstage Disney, first class, you know, airplane ride. I'm like, holy shit. For a first date? And then everyone asks like the next question, like, oh, so did it work? Did you get laid? She's like, oh no. Oh, that's the funniest story I've ever heard in my life. Why would you? Well, why would you do that? Because like that, this girl was so like, just that sentence proves that this girl has so much money to burn, light on fire. She has more money than I'll ever have in my life, and she spent $60,000 on one weekend, on one date weekend, and it didn't even work. It didn't even work. She didn't even get laid. Oh, that's so, it's so sad. It's so funny. Um, yeah, I talked in a previous video about how like women have like inherent riz, like they don't have to like kind of do anything to get laid. It's like they just kind of exist, and like 5 men will come up to them. It's like no, there's an exception. Like JoJo Siwa was the exception. Like oh my god, like she doesn't have that's the biggest example of like not having riz I've ever. Like, yeah, I spent like 60 grand and like, I couldn't even get a kiss. Like, oh, you're doing something wrong. Like oh my god. Like why would you admit that? Why would you admit that on camera? That's crazy. That's the craziest part. She's kind of like admitted to this incredibly embarrassing thing. Anyway, okay, and then they talk about and I gotta like I don't maybe someday I'll like rewatch the video. Like a fun drinking game to play would be like rewatch the video. There's so many times where JoJo like can't stop talking about her girlfriend. She's just like my girlfriend. I'm a lesbian. My girlfriend. I'm not kidding. Like, it's like every other sentence. She's like my girlfriend. Oh, I'm so in love with my girlfriend. I met the perfect girlfriend. My girlfriend. She can't stop, and it's actually really obnoxious. Like I understand she's kind of like trying to play it. I was like, oh, we're still in the early stages. We're in that like puppy love phase. Like all I want to do is like think about her and talk about her. And that's fine, but like it's really annoying. Can you stop? Like, and like this is a scary part too, because like they talk about like both of them are scary because like JoJo's like oh like we've been together for a while now, like it's been like what because she keeps talking about her, so like everyone's like oh how long have you been with this girl, and she's like oh it's been like 2 months. I'm like what? 2 months? And she's like, yeah, we've been together a while, and it's 2 months. And then Hailey's like, oh yeah, I've been with Pookie like a long time. It's been like a year. I'm like, what is time? What is time to these people? That's a long time. Like, oh my god, you got tell me in the chat, guys. Tell me in the chat. Is that like a Gen Z girl thing? Like maybe that's just like a Gen Z girl thing, or is it just a Hailey and a JoJo thing? I could go either way. Gen Z scares me. I'm so worried that that's how people of that generation view time. Like like a month is like a long time. Like that's basically a decade. It's just like and so anyway, yeah. So JoJo has been dating this girl for 2 months, and they have these promise ring. This is where it gets kind of scary. It's funny, but it's also scary. It's like terrifying. But they have these like promise rings, and JoJo's like, and this is the thing she does. She just like adds the word cutie to everything. She's like, we've been dating for 2 cutie months, and we got each other these cutie promise rings. And I'm like, what's a cutie promise ring? And I had to realize like, oh no, she just has like brain damage. She just adds cutie to everything. So like they have promise rings after 2 months. And they have like a special message engraved on each one. And JoJo's girlfriend has one. I'm not kidding. She says this. It's like it's something like can't run. It's like a ring that says like you can't run. That's scary. That's scary. Like you can't run. But like she explains like no. It's like like you can't. It's like she tries to play off. It's like no. It's like you can't run from Cupid's arrow, or like once you fall in love, you can't run from it. That type of thing. But like I don't know. Sounds sus. That's sus. I don't know. But yeah, they talk about like celebrity crushes or whatever, and JoJo's response, of course, she's like, oh, a celebrity crush? Can I say my girlfriend? It's like no. No, that doesn't make sense. Like it's like no, JoJo. Like she tries to do the thing that everyone does, where it's like the obligatory answer, where it's like, oh, who is the most beautiful girl in the world in your opinion? I'd be like, oh, can I say my wife? It's like the obligatory answer, even though it's bullshit. But JoJo's doesn't even make sense, because it's like, JoJo, you barely qualify as a celebrity, and your girlfriend certainly doesn't qualify. It's like, I don't know why you'd even say that. Like, oh, my first celebrity crush, my girlfriend. She just wanted an excuse to say the words "my girlfriend" for the 28th time, to remind us that she's a lesbian for the 28th time. I hate this person. So I've only known her for like a day, and I hate this person so fucking much. Anyway, oh my lord. So yeah. So celebrity crush. I forget what Hailey says, but this is so interesting to me. So JoJo then she gives her like fake answers, and she gives a real answer, and she lists a couple of guys. Yeah, no, she liked guys back in the day when she's like, well, yeah, growing up, there's this guy, Zac Efron. Does anyone have Zac Efron's contact? Somebody message Zac. Somebody let Zac know that he's in danger. Like JoJo's got her eyes on him. Like well, Zac's pretty buff. He's pretty ripped. If you saw the Iron Claw, he's like shredded. But I think even Zac, if he saw this in his closet, he'd be terrified. He'd scream like a little girl, like ah, JoJo Siwa. Actually, that's a great example. Like, there's so many child stars that, like, you know, they were on Disney or on Nickelodeon, and then they just like completely fell apart or went crazy. But Zac Efron's like the one example. He was in High School Musical, and then he actually, you know, went off and did something, you know, kind of cool. Like, you know, he was in some real movies. He was in Baywatch. He was in Neighbors. I loved him in Neighbors. 1 and 2, but then yeah, no, he's in an A24 movie called The Iron Claw. He's great. He gives such a great performance in The Iron Claw. Please go watch that movie. So like he's like the one example I can think of like a child star that, you know, kind of blew up, like kind of did something post Disney that was meaningful. Anyway, unlike JoJo and all those other people. JoJo Siwa. Oh my god. Yeah, so then they talk about the SNL skits. They both have SNL skits that kind of like JoJo says the stupidest freaking thing. So like JoJo's like, oh yeah, like I was on an episode of SNL. You know, I couldn't tell, were they making fun of me? It's like, you stupid bitch, you stupid bimbo. Like, do you know what comedy is? Do you know parody? Do you know what that word means? Do you know what SNL is? It's like, that'd be if I was on an episode of The Simpsons, like, oh, I was on The Simpsons. Do you think they were making fun of me? Like, I was on Family Guy. Do you think they're making fun of me? I was in an Adam Sandler movie. Like, do you think he's making fun of me? Like, oh my god, like, you know. That's what SNL is. Like, well, I mean, you know, she's only like 20. Like, maybe she hasn't heard of SNL before. Like, I don't know. Oh, Jesus Christ. Like, these two girls that they're just like feeding into each other, making each other stupider and stupider. Like their combined IQ is probably like 80. It's so bad. It's so bad. How do you not know what SNL is? How can you not? The fact that she watched that video. And I mean, Chloe's impression of her was so spot on, but like the fact that she watched that video and was like, "Oh, I can't tell if that's like parody. I can't tell if she's like making fun of me." Like that's really bad. That's really bad because Chloe in that video is like super scary. She's like, "Hey, I'm JoJo Siwa." It's like, oh no. Oh god. And then okay. Oh yeah, and JoJo tells this other story that's so funny. So what is she? So long story short, because she's like trying to play the victim card, and she's like, you know, people are so mean to JoJo. People are so mean to me. I post videos and people hate on me. Okay, here's what happened. I wasn't there, but here's just going off of what she said. Here's what happened. She posts some video either on Snapchat or Instagram or something, and it's like a dance video. She's like dancing, you know, getting ready for like a music video or something, and people are nice. She's like, oh, you know, the first video, people were nice. They weren't hating on me at all. And then she posts a second video that's literally the same dance video from a slightly different angle, and then all of a sudden, like, all the comments are so hateful. People are hating on me. Did you ever stop and think that like maybe people just hated the fact that you posted the same video twice and try to claim it's a new video? You know what I mean? It's like freaking. It's like when you try and hand in a book report twice, but you like just change the name of the book in the you know, now it's not The Catcher in the Rye. I crossed that out. I wrote The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. You know, it's a different book report. No, it's not. You try to hand in the same work twice. It's the same. Like, what's the point? What's the point of posting the same music video from a slightly different angle, JoJo? Like you know, that's stupid. Like, that's totally worth people kind of calling you out and like, dumping on you. You know, if I was there, I would have dumped on you. You know, or that frickin' who did that guy Lars von Trier, I think, did it, but like there was like a remake of Psycho, like Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, where it's the same movie shot for shot remake. It's just in color. So if you ever want to see Psycho in color, there you go. It's the exact same freaking movie, and literally everyone, you know, shat on the movie, shat on the director. They're like, hey, like, what's the point? You know, that's a colossal waste of time. You know, so it's the same thing. Like, yeah, that's why people started hating on you, because you did the same video twice for no reason, and you claimed it was a different video. Anyway, okay, this was interesting. So they talk about biggest turnoffs, and it's so funny because she's like, oh, I think, no, it's Hailey that says it, because she's like, oh yeah, like first they talk about like turn-ons, like Hailey's like, what gives you a lady boner, and she makes this face like, oh, I've just discovered this new term, I've just invented this new term. No, I've been hearing that term passed around for many years. You're not smart, you're not special, and you're not clever. You did not invent the word lady boner. I'm sorry, get over it. But like, yeah, JoJo's answer is very interesting. She's like, oh, everything. Like for women, she says, for men, nothing. For women, everything. She's like, I'll literally be doing something else on my computer, but as soon as my girlfriend makes a move, like climbs on top of me, like, oh, I'm good to go. It's like, she's like, what's your turn on? Oh, sex, making out. That's a turn on. I'm like, listen, that's not how that works. Like, it's like you can't. Turn-ons happen to get you in the mood for making it. You can't have a turn-on mid-making out. It doesn't make sense, JoJo. Just like everything else out of your mouth, it doesn't make sense. But whatever. So then they talk about biggest turn-offs. And Hailey says, like, kind of normal stuff. She's like, guys with bad hygiene, he doesn't, clip his toenails or fingernails, the normal stuff. Then JoJo, strap yourself in. This is where it gets interesting. JoJo's turn-offs. So the first thing she says is nothing, because she's like, for girls, which I think that's cap. I think that's a lie. Like there's no way nothing turns, like, I mean, I don't know, that's pretty impressive. If there doesn't exist anything in reality, in this world that could turn you, as far as women, like, okay, that's very interesting. But then she's like, oh yeah, for guys, I have two very specific turn-offs. And before I go further, because these are very interesting, I have to pump the brakes again. Viewers at home with IQs over 81, IQs higher than JoJo Siwa and Hailey Welch combined, can figure out that there's something wrong here, and that I don't want to speculate too much on this person, but I have a theory about JoJo, and I'm going to say it right now. So if she had just said it once, like a normal person, right? It's like I've mentioned it like once or twice. I'm like, yeah, I have a wife. I'm married to Elizabeth Olsen. Like, whatever. It's whatever. There's not a whole lot to talk about there. It's like, yeah, whatever. JoJo, if she had just been like, yeah, I'm a lesbian. I have a girlfriend. Okay, that's it. But like, no, she says it so much, so defensively, so aggressively, all the time, always. I don't believe you. I think it's a front. I think it's a facade. I think you're full of shit. It's the classic Hamlet line where he's like, methinks the lady doth protest too much. Yeah, she's protesting way too much. Like, oh, what do you got to hide, JoJo? And then she even said, I've made out with guys in the past. All of her celebrity crushes as a kid were guys like Zac Efron. Yeah, I think she's lying. I think she's full of shit. I think she is attracted to men. She seems obsessed with men. She did the penis photo shoot. She constantly talks about being a fuckboy, having big D energy. Like, she's obsessed with men. But then she talks about her turnoffs with men, and I'm like, well, hold on. Viewers at home, hold on. If you're a lesbian, how do you have turnoffs with men if you shouldn't have any turn-ons with men? You're a lesbian, right? Like, so that doesn't make sense at all. You contradicted yourself, you revealed yourself, you outed yourself, you're straight. Like, I know it, you're straight, you're lying, you're straight. I'm sorry, I'm calling you out. Anyway, her biggest turn-offs with men, she hates when men peel, she hates to see a man peeling an orange. That was a big one, peeling an orange. What a random, and like, she was like, yeah, and everyone laughs, and she's like, no, think about it, it's so gross, like imagine a man peeling an orange. And then at that point, again, I'm thinking with a brain with like over 80 IQ, but I was like, oh, they're gonna do like a little connection there, like orange, like, why did she mention orange? Because Hailey is drinking a mimosa, they've already mentioned orange juice, so she's gonna bring it back to that. She's like, oh yeah, the guy that peeled your orange for that orange juice in your mimosa was probably gross. She's gonna make a little callback, right? No, that is not what she did. Like, it was just a totally random comment, had nothing to do with anything. Like, there was such an easy way to bring it back to the mimosa from her, but no, I'm thinking way too hard. I'm thinking too much. Like, I'm thinking way more than anyone who actually made this podcast thought about it. Then she says a line about like, oh, jump rope. I hate seeing a man stop jumping rope. And then one of the producers is like, oh, so like you don't like seeing men jump rope? And she's like, no, it's like very specific. She's like, no, like jumping rope, like that's cool, like that's a turn on, like that's cool. But like then he stops and it's like, oh wow, what a tease. And like, so he's just supposed to jump rope for you indefinitely. I thought you don't like men. Like, why does it matter? Why does it matter if he's jumping rope or not? Like, apparently, okay, so Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. I don't get you, JoJo. I don't think anyone gets you. Okay, and then the final comment. This is what really kind of annoyed the shit out of me. Let's look at this person one more time. So we have prattled on for 55 minutes about absolutely nothing, absolute bullshit with nothing to talk about. You're the most uninteresting person in the world. You end the video, you finally start talking about something interesting. I'm not kidding. She just kind of mentions it, and she's like, because they talk about drugs, right? And like oh my lord, Hailey is a bad role. JoJo actually is a good role model in that regard. So JoJo talks about how she like lives a drug-free life. She doesn't smoke, she doesn't drink, she doesn't even vape. And Hailey is like, oh wow, I'm the opposite. Like I can't imagine being sober. It's like, oh god. And she's just like, no, I want constantly be sloshed or high or something. I'm always drinking or smoking. I'm like, oh my god. So yeah, Hailey, who is so popular, has so many followers, so many impressionable young women watching that video who heard that. That's unfortunate. She's not a good role model. But JoJo's like, oh no, I don't do anything. But it's not. With her, it's not so much a choice. It's she can't do drugs. So she explains she has a medical condition, so she can't do drugs. So, but she explains, she's like, oh yeah, like my lungs are really messed up, and I actually have really messed up vocal cords. I have a ruptured vocal cord. I only have one good vocal cord in my body, and so I can't smoke because it would really screw me up even further. And then that's unfortunate. Like seriously, I've been shitting on you, JoJo, this whole time. I'm about to shit on you even more in a minute, but I want to take a break here and just kind of dwell on that for, again, like it's like a really interesting thing. Like I am surprised you didn't mention this earlier in the video, but like, yeah, you have a medical condition, you have, damaged lungs, you have like a ruptured vocal cord. That sucks. Seriously, I feel bad for you. I'm sorry that happened to you. And then she instantly says the one thing to kill any goodwill I had towards her. Okay, and before I say anything, viewers at home with IQ over 80, you'll probably notice something she said that doesn't really add up. And this is where Chelsea, Hailey's friend, Chelsea, all these girls are so dumb. All these girls have combined IQ of 80, but Chelsea's like a little bit smarter. I have hope for Chelsea. She like raises her hand and objects. I think Chelsea's like, high 90s, maybe she's like breaking 100 IQ, I don't know. But Chelsea raises her hand, she says, excuse me, JoJo, something kind of didn't add up there. So you have damaged lungs, you have ruptured vocal cord. Didn't you choose a singing career path? Like, isn't that your whole thing is music, singing, and, isn't that bad? Like, doesn't that make your vocal cords even worse? And JoJo's like, oh yeah, well that's probably true. I'm like, what? What? Oh, and JoJo is so dumb. She's like, oh yeah, I went to the doctor, and he told me I have a ruptured vocal cord, and I was like, oh, is that bad? Like, how, like, that sounds. Is that bad? Is that bad? Yeah, it's bad. Like, how stupid are you? She probably didn't know what the word ruptured means. She probably didn't. But like, can't you use like context clues? Like listen to your doctor's tone of voice. Like, yeah, it's bad. It sounds bad. Oh, doctor, JoJo brain not works so good today. JoJo feel extra dumb. Ruptured organs. Is that bad? Can you tell JoJo if that's bad? JoJo brain not work right now. JoJo hairband on too tight today. Is that bad? Damaged vocal cord? Bad? Should JoJo sing? Should JoJo sing more? Yeah, so that's bad. And she openly admitted that she wasn't sure if that was bad. And then she, was informed that it's bad. And that singing will only do further damage to her already damaged lungs and vocal cord. Her one good vocal cord she has left. Yeah, pick a new career path. Pick a new career path, like anything. Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, you're literally continually damaging your body by doing your chosen career path, which you don't have to do. She already has, she has $60,000 to spend on one date where she doesn't even get laid. So like, yeah, you got money. So find something else. Get a real job. Get any other job. Like, you're like damaging your vocal cords by singing. So stop singing. Like it's a no-brainer. Why would you pick the one career path that is the worst for you. Like, you know, and you're not even good. Like, you're that sucked. Boomerang sucked. Karma was terrifying. That sucked too. I don't even know what you are anymore. Are you still human? Are you a xenomorph or a Power Rangers villain? Like, oh my god. Oh my god, JoJo Siwa. I'd never even heard of you until today, but like, I hate you. You are the #1 enemy of this channel. Forget Slenderman 2024. Like, he's like a minor boss. This is the main. This is the final boss of my life. This is JoJo Siwa. What a guest star. I mean, the only thing I can even think of is that Hailey just found like the one girl that's like more annoying than her. Like, Hailey's getting all this hate because she's pushed her luck. She's like pushed her 15 seconds of fame way too long, so people are turning on her like en masse, which is fair. So now she found like the one person who's like even worse. So she's like, no, hey, don't hate me, hate her. I'm like, okay, you know, that's fine. You know, that's fine. So now everyone, yeah, let's all just hate JoJo Siwa and hope she goes away. And I can't wait for the next. You know, I'm stopping the pod. I'm not gonna watch any more episodes. I promise. But I can only imagine what the next guest star is gonna be. Anyway, see ya.